to know is that a constitution making process involves so many stakeholders, and National Assembly is just one among the stakeholders with the responsibility of doing the latter part of the process. Honorable Kasande, you have
Thank you, Honorable Kambiongo. Mine is just a matter of trying to reflect on the historical context of the constitution-making process in this country. Because as the late President Mwanawasa, may his soul rest in peace, said at one point, Zambians, we Zambians, we forget very easy. We do forget very easy. And probably we don't give credence to history, the credence that the history deserves. As you may be aware, we've had several constitutional review commissions from 1964 up to the last one, which culminated into the 2016 constitution. Okay, so I'll take you back to November 2011, when the late President Michael Sata, may his soul rest in peace, appointed a committee of experts, technical committee of experts, to review the constitution reports that were brought by various commissioners. So this committee of experts, if my memory serves me right, was appointed on the 16th of November 2011, and they were given mandate to review the previous reports by the following commissions. So the mandate, what the technical committee was expected to look at, or let me say, the raw material, the data that they needed to review, was the Chona Constitution Review Commission, the Mvunga Constitution Review Commission, Mwanakatwe, and Mungomba, including the technical electoral report that Madam Zaromis chaired and produced. So there were 5 documents that this committee of experts were given to review, so that within a shortest possible time they could come up with a constitution. Okay, a people-driven constitution, as it was talked about that time. And there were 5 reports that they needed to review. And the president, by that time, in his own wisdom, when he appointed this committee, he didn't appoint any active practicing politician by that time. Political parties were not represented on this technical committee of experts. That was deliberate, to remove politicians, to influence the outcome of the product of that process. And again, this technical committee, in their own wisdom, after reviewing the 5 reports that I've spoken about, the Mvunga Commission, Chona, Mwanakatwe, Mungomba, and Zaromi's electoral technical report, they decided to go further. Instead of simply reviewing these reports, these submissions, and then eventually come up with the draft or the draft bill for the new constitution. In their own wisdom, this group of 20 experts decided to go around the country once again to just check with people, to compare notes if a political dynamics or what people wanted to see in the constitution had drastically changed. They did a snapshot, and at the end of the day, they produced the report. And, I want to zero in when the president said in his speech that he didn't know what the people came up with in 2016 were thinking. Okay? For me, that is very insulting and degrading to the people that the late president appointed. Some of them are still serving in current government. And the president said he didn't know what these people were thinking. The 2016 constitution, it is not a product of PF per se. It is not a product of His Excellency, the sixth President Edgar Lungu. It is a product of the Zambian people who've been submitting to these various committees and echoed and amplified what they submitted in the past to this technical committee of experts. And then the president comes, even at the temerity, just the temerity, the audacity to say he didn't know what these people were thinking. Maybe just to remind the people of Zambia, there was, I think, a time of the former President Bonawasa who constituted a National Constitutional Conference, which UPND MPs participated fully. By that time, PF did not participate, but UPND parliamentarians participated from day one until the report was produced and the bill was submitted in Parliament. Despite them being part of the process and submissions in their usual style, in the style of scammers, in the Parliament, they disappointed MMD. They came along with MMD all the way at the time that MMD needed them most. As we know them. They chickened out. That process collapsed because of UPND. Failure to support what they were part of. And this is where we are coming from. And for one reason or the other, I think Zambian people have been very soft on this group of human beings. And me personally, I really don't like it. When people create problems at the end of the day, play victim. They create a crisis, and then they will come around and play as if they are the victims in the equation. Okay. Now, going back to the technical committee of experts, where the president was saying he doesn't know what they were thinking. In short, he was telling these people were part of the group that they were not thinking straight. And I'm challenging you, the media, today. I'll give you the names that formed part of that technical committee so that you can go and hear what their take is. Because this constitution have been rubbished here and there, and the people who were the architects, the people who put up the thoughts of the Zambian people together, which culminated into a document, they have been quiet. Maybe it is a challenge I'm throwing to the media today that go to these people individually and get their reaction. Because according to the president, the implication of what he said is that they were not thinking at all. So you can go back to the following people. I think this technical committee of experts was chaired by the Chief Justice Anu Silongo by that time. He was the chairperson. The president on Friday said he didn't know what Silongo was thinking. Okay? There are people like Reverend Susan Matari, who formed part of the committee of experts. Where William Mumomba, okay? Honorable Sebastian Zulu, by then he was actually the Minister of Justice, the first Minister of Justice in the PF regime, and Madam Charity Mwansa was the permanent secretary, okay? And then there was also Professor Patrick Mvunga on that committee, the one which the president rubbishes today, okay? There were people like Chief Luchembe of the Northern Province. There were 3 Catholic bishops, and the current president of the Court today, Madam Margaret Munarula. She was a lecturer of constitutionalism at the University of Zambia by that time. She is the Concord president today, and the president tells the country that he doesn't know whether Madam was thinking or not. But he appoints her to lead the Constitutional Court. And then he comes around and says he doesn't know if these people were really thinking or not. It is amazing. It is really shocking and disappointing. And there were likes of constitutional lawyers and former MPs like Honorable Ernest Mwansa, who you know very well, even Dr. Loja Chongo, who was appointed at one time to lead a commission on voting pattern, violence and so on and so forth. These are critical individuals that have accounted for themselves in terms of character, morality, and leadership in this country. And these are some of the people that the president is questioning. There was even a civil society activist, Simon Kabanda, and even Mr. Ruben Gifuka, okay? And Mangala Zaromis, who is the chairperson for the Electoral Commission today. And these are the people that the president is questioning their character, their integrity, if they were thinking at all. So I'm challenging you today. I'm throwing this challenge to you guys, the media. Go to Madam Mangala Zaromis. Oh, the president not too long ago made a state council. Okay? But he comes around. The person he has created himself now, a state council for that matter. And he comes around and says, these people are not thinking at all. That is an implication of what he said. Okay, so as I said, I just you were not born by that time, 15 years ago. Days close by close. And we knew what we were doing. So when we were there in the house debating, our colleagues protesting, and in fact, we voted almost on all the clauses. Almost. That's why we knocked off the following day at 6 hours. 06 hours. And then I've heard some MPs and some quotas to say we were sleeping. How can we sleep when we trusted this 20 technical team? We trusted the likes of the names that I've mentioned here. If it is true people are sleeping, those who are sleeping, because it's out of trust, because we believed that the product of this technical committee members would produce a good document. I just wanted to bring this to the attention of the public to realize that this 2016 constitution was packaged by the 20 experts that some of whose names I've mentioned. And that evening when we were doing the constitution, we worked together with MMD. It is important to put it on record that MMD was very supportive and very objective. So I just wanted to bring this to attention to the media and to the public, that going forward, go and interact, get the views, because people may be thinking that PF had ulterior motives. There's something that they wanted to put in the constitution. We received this 2016 constitution as a finished product from this committee of experts, 20 of them. And we reviewed it. And we realized that the Zambian people spoke through that document. Okay? So now just to react, the people who did this, in my opinion, they applied their mind, their expertise, their knowledge, their time, they sacrificed. And they knew what they were doing. Because I don't want to talk about Rakona as Honorable Tembo will deal with that. I would rather talk about the milestones that this constitution they are ravishing achieved. We now know it is no longer a prison of a president. Aisa Abuka Feka Teka, perfect 1st December, Jama elections, Moran season. We now know when the next elections were going to be held. People didn't want to go to the presidential by-election. That we achieved. Now we have a running mate who will take over in case of anything that happens to the president. There are several milestones that we achieved. You know, this reminds me of what psychologists do sometimes. You take a piece of paper, a big piece of paper, a manila paper, okay? Then you draw a black dot on the middle. And the question is asked to the public, what can you see? At the end of the day, probably even all of you only see the dot. You will not see the rest of the white paper. That is how the human mind functions. You rubbish all the good things and you just concentrate maybe on one negative aspect. Okay, so that is what I really wanted to talk about. It's insulting and annoying. And I pray to God that the people that were part of putting together this constitution will now begin to talk so that they can give context and perspective to what transpired at that particular time. And the second, briefly, I also want to talk about CDF. CDF, game changer to some people. It's a game changer. And the point I want to comment on is when the president said that he's aware that there are some members of parliament who are sabotaging the CDF so that the project fails. My question is, at what point can a member of parliament surely sabotage the CDF process? How? And I wish the president would have gone further to demonstrate how, for example, Honorable Kasandweni Bangolo can sabotage the implementation of CDF. It is very clear in black and white. The process is very clear. The member of parliament has only one role to play. He sits in the CDF committee that approves the projects. I don't want to go through the process because it is tedious. But the only role that the member of parliament plays in the decision making is simply when the WDCs submit to his committee and the committee deliberates and actually adopts. I cannot even go approves, adopts, and then submits the adopted report to the local government provincial officer to approve. From there, appraisal is done by the council. Another role that an MP may play is simply a monitoring to go and see what is happening. The entire process is established in the Local Government Act, in a CDF Act, in the WDC's guidelines, in the CDF guidelines, in black and white. You know, there comes a time in life when a real man should acknowledge where he has failed to deliver. There is no harm to simply say, well, we thought CDF would work, but we've realized that even after amending the act, there are still some bottlenecks, there are still some gaps. That's why the ministry issues guidelines, memos, or we call them circulars. Almost every week, every month, a circular is issued on the administration of CDF. More importantly, what we want to know is that while in the previous government, you only mop up the finances, the funds, on the 1st December of each year. For our colleagues, they are mopping up these CDF funds every month end. There are situations and moments where a contractor received the down payment, he has done his work, he brings the IPC, the council writes a check. Before they know it, there is no money in the account. And this is really creating a problem for contractors because the cost of building material is changing every day. An IPC submitted today a completion certificate, he wants another payment, the council issues the check, and they are waiting for the check to go through. You discover the money is not there. So they need to put the house in place. Go to the minister, to the Ministry of Local Government. The PS confirmed that, of course, the reason we are mopping out this money because we don't want financial institutions to be making profit on our money. So that, what the president said, is erroneous. It's not true. And sometimes it's important to come out clean and simply say, this MP is sabotaging the implementation of CDF because we gave them money and this is the role he played. He delayed. At no point, I don't know at what point the MP can do that. So these are important issues that we need to interrogate as a media. I am a victim. I am a victim of this process where we needed to move, but money was moved back to the ministry. And we are stuck. Visit some of these projects and get this real picture on the ground. Don't just believe on what people say and allege that they are sabotaging. How can, maybe as I conclude, how can one individual sabotage an institution, the whole government? Then they are not serious. If one MP can sabotage the implementation of a CDF for a district, then this government is sleeping. Honorable, I thought I should bring up the position. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Honorable Kasande. Thank you so much.